Base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. It. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth product. Ah, you're right. Navia's probably...
It would appear that I must repeat my questioning. Do you accept the charge that you are the true cook?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to... In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're...
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to... Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that
No.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going... In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
That case had nothing to do with... Huh? What's going on? Why is she
I told you it couldn't be one of the...
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated... But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol.
Oh, please. Did you ever think the... We can put that discussion aside for now. And if my charges prove true...
Oh, a young lady has... So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person...
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confrérie?
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosu?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances...
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorney, members of the guards, please contact Mr. Mas... Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney...
Apologies. It all just happens. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, only through elucidating what really happened in that...
Navia, do you really think that I would... Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I... If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect?
I think there's no point in getting into the specific...
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that...
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the court. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, the guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot... The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon... These are the known facts about the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot after that, the true culprit turned the third person into water. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the ability... Something's not right. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume but now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene. And since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the... Something's... The testimony of the victim's family confirmed, however, unfortunately... Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading...
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial...
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques...
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should...
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing...
Then, may I ask some questions? 1. Do you have the
I'm afraid not.
Boo! If you don't...
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted club, we should be able to find a map. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette,
Why do I feel like Farina's acting...
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself.
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent...
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. Then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that...
I've thought about this too. And the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for... My father could have exposed it for all to see, but at that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been... What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already...
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there, and of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter, but what good would that do? Had this opera house ever given my father any... But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponent. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, and once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what...
So, you mean to say...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should...
So, during the duel, did you believe that
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to...
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between...
Right? What she said was fascinating, but...
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if, coincidentally, Marcel attended both...
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing... I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of...
No need to appeal to Painter.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the...
I don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations. Alas, Who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see it? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah, well, do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me any-
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when But the disappearances began before
I do apologize, demoiselle.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family, could those records and testimonies do something to appease the
Seems like she got the wrong. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for false.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his... But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his
This isn't just about me. And the biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearance, many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image is it? A man named Oh, so you do know that
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone
I was waiting for you.
Rise! Quake!
Speed of light! Hey!
Crumble!
Nowhere to hide. Let's dance. Oh, hi. Oh. Don't blink.
Quake!
Speed of light. Hey!
Crumble!
With sword comes shadow.
Quake!
I will have order.
Incoming. Hey!
Crumble!
Speed of light.
Quake!
Let the show begin. Nowhere to hide. Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising! Now we can swim to the top! But this is still a ways away from where we need to go. Go! Don't blink!
Rise! Yeah!
Incoming! Cross over! Speed of light! Hey! With sword comes shadow. Don't blink! Hey!
Crumble!
Cut to the chase!
Rise!
Hey!
Quake!
This is order.
Rise!
Incoming! Speed of light! Hey! With sword comes shadow.
Crumble! Quake!
Ready, steady, go! Don't blink! Higher, higher, hands on fire! Speed of light! Cut to the chase!
Crumble!
I will have order.
Don't blink! Speed of light!
Quake!
Don't blink!
Rise!
Now the path is clear! Let's go!
Let's dance.
Crumble! Crumble!
After all that, we finally... Though, as expected, the mastermind... That's right. What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Why are... Huh? You mean the girls from the series, and then they were turned in, and all the boxes of things, these names. What's this over here? Looks like some experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimen... Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter of... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did it all. But did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... So that's it! No, that's not it either! If that's the case, in any case... Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth, but the Paimon will take notes on this Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes detect... Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the The old dog's a real menace to He can act whenever he wants. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. Lover's name? Then you found... Aw, it's just a so many! Oh, the final name Marcel! Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Oh, has this case been going on for so...
And whose image is it? A man named... Oh, so you do know...
I've merely surprised...
I was...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence,
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've...
Huh?
We've investigated your lair. We already know after your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of...
So that's it. Even the villains and with that, Marcel's motive...
This information regarding your past also dismantles your pride. Well, Marcel... You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying it. So, you never noticed how we changed.
You also never understood Boss's real expectation.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise,
Do you really think I pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called Venier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, but I'm not from this blasted place. So I
Hey, water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't go, I did all of that. And in the end, that I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still... Vignere, please, Vignere, don't think badly of...
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher, and worked as an adventurer with his partner. During an underwater expedition, Vignere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea, and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others, and began to kidnap young women for research. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came... After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to... Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearance. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearance. The oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against... According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinal, guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite...
Yippee! We have Navia bring... He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely...
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has any...
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made...
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is...
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct... The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose... We now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinal. According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinal, guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! What's with this verdict? Is your justice...
Huh? This has never happened before. The oratrice...
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the oratrice...
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict.
The judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinal is, by law, the fine... Guards, please take the suspect into custody.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld. Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at... I don't know what happened there.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that...
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like...
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow... Don't tell me. You thought even I...
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious...
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, and... of course, for every performance, there is a script. Everything... If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is all everything he's done. Not to mention the danger he poses. All shall be revealed in time. You will come to a... Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time...
So she chose to make her escape after all, did...
So you're saying we shouldn't put much...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she... However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity.
All right. Even though we feel pretty... After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff.
Phew.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll...
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her. But how could that be? The Fountain of Lucine? Then... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done it?
This request, is it worth as much to you as...
Of course! Wait, no.
It's humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just... Very well.
Your Honor,
I will go with him. You do not need to...
In that case, I shall...
Thank you! Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing.
Vache.
Ah!
Yes, that's it.
Vignier, it's me! It's...
Vache?
I'm here! Where are you, Vignier?
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vignere, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vignere!
Vache, why did you come? Did you? You look alive.
It's been more than 20 years. All this time. Only the thought of bringing you back has... I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings? Vignere, you are my everything. I really don't know how...
But Vache, if you ask me, if not for you, I would have finished my law degree and if not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. It's all because of your selfishness.
Wait, you are not Vignere.
You're right. I am not. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousness, our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not.
Why? But then...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things? You are a liar. A heart. The only thing you are not. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignere's, she had...
No! Vignere!
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came... But on top of that, she also said that because... She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to...
Well met, partner. I knew something great.
Even this weather can't put a damper on...
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days.
Oh, now that I believe...
Sounds like you're really
It's just been one thing after the other. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. This time, though, everyone in Poisson...
So his name's definitely been cleared.
It's been the dearest wish of them all.
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right to put my... Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say...
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
Yeah. Way back when I first became the president of the Spina... I believe the story was called The Truth. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the series.
Oh, yeah. She told us about that.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical...
Now that's another thing to look...
Oh, and in other news...
Oh, are you two on better terms?
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, it was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's...
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clarend wasn't actually...
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved... Oh, actually, there's...
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave. And tell him that... And on top of that...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go too.
Sure thing. I'd like...
And in that case, everyone, let's be off.
Yeah, you're right. This is where my father...
Huh? There's someone there?
Hmm?
Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say...
Sorry about that.
Oh, I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still,
In that case, I will stop.
You really could... In any case.
Well, there was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be... Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most... Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly, if not for his sacrifice. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associate, and in the end, from a certain perspective, a justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. This regret has filled me with a sadness. That high and mighty chair in the opera Epicles indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your...
So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but...
Sorry about that. Self-expression.
Didn't I just say...
So Navia and Nerva... Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till... Paimon's never paid respects at... Huh? Oh no. Paimon hopes... Anyway, Nervalette is still standing around there.
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss...
We ran into Navia.
I see.
Well?
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my
So, at court, the bad guys were...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that there used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really was...
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really...
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life... To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding. Is there any... My apologies. However, I still believe the...
But...
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Aura has a divinely created mechanism that not only can it produce the incredible power, which is all to say, I have been prepared...
So in...
I was not aware such a thing had a... In any case, I am inclined, based on Farina's reaction, while we do intend to get to the bottom of this, if we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not...
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation...
Is there anything else? Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. If she ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure she followed our law. Is there anything else? That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving... Does that appropriately summarize the version you've...
That's right! It was Linny that told us...
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words, the former Hydro...
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro?
Two parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine. Speaking of the prophecy... Farina has also always taken it quite... If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the
But with Farina being...
Is there anything else you'd like? Very well. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquil...
You really are super busy, Monsieur Nerval...
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice...
All right. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.